With the addition of the super pushing, a lot of you are going to be struggling to penetrate most tanks, and in today's video I'm going to be helping you solve that question. In today's video we're going to be telling you how to destroy every single tank in Enlisted at top tier. In this video we're going to be covering the top 3 tanks, or in some cases for some nations, the top 2 tanks, and I'm going to be explaining to you how to shoot them, how to destroy them with one shot, and how to penetrate them from front on. Of course, this video has been made possible for the friends at Discord. If you haven't liked, subscribed, or joined Discord, I highly suggest that you do. With that said, let's get started. Starting with the Soviets, we have 2 tanks that I really want to cover. These are the IS-2 and the IS-2 1944. For the IS-2, there are a lot of places you can shoot. The driver's hatch is a very good spot to shoot. As a matter of fact, if you shoot the driver's spot, almost every shot from an 88 can penetrate. On the other hand, you also have the cheeks. The cheeks of the turret mantlet is also a very good place to shoot. As a matter of fact, I think it's the second best spot besides the driver hatch to shoot. And of course, you do have the commander's cupola, but I don't suggest doing that because if you do, you're just going to kill the commander and, well, nothing's really going to happen. If you shoot the driver cheek, you can disable the gunner and the commander. If you shoot the driver's hatch, you can kill the tank in one shot. Moving on to the IS-2 1944, this is an upgraded version of the IS-2. To be exact, the frontal armor is basically unpenetrable. As a matter of fact, anything that you shoot at the driver's hatch is unpenetrable. Hence, the only way that you can destroy this thing is by shooting the cheek. Although it is harder to shoot, it will one-shot if you have a well-placed shot, especially from an 88. That said, that is the only place that you can essentially shoot the IS-2 1944 from the front on. Side on, it's fair game for every tank and any weapon that you use, especially the Panzerfaust. The same could be said for the IS-2, both tanks are easily penetrated from the side. Let's move on to the United States, starting with the 76 Jumbo. This is essentially an American tank that is essentially a jumbo with a 76 gun. The best place to shoot this thing is at the machine gun port, as you can see right down here. The machine gun port is the best way to shoot this thing, and you will definitely one-shot this thing out of existence. Anywhere else, it's really hit and miss. I personally would not suggest that you shoot anything else except for the driver's port, but if you're using anything from, i.e. a Tiger 2, Tiger 2H, you can instantly one-shot the jumbo, because it can penetrate anywhere from the front, except for the turret, of course. Please don't try to shoot the turret. You're just gonna make your life horrible. Moving on to the Pershing, and this is a tank in which you can pretty much one-shot anywhere from the front. The front hull armor is very weak and very lackluster. The front hull armor is 102, meaning that almost any tank can penetrate you, especially at the range. And to be exact, while you're at it, depending on where you shoot, you can instantly one-shot the entire tank. And finally, we have the Super Pershing. This is essentially it's heavily upgraded. For one, the armor is almost pretty much self-encompassing. Hence, the only way you can destroy this thing is by shooting the machine gun port, in which, if you actually manage to shoot it, I think it takes out the loader, the driver, and I do believe the gunner if your shot is well placed and lucky. That said, another way you can destroy this is by shooting the cheeks. This is an extremely hard shot, and while with the machine gun port it's also a hard shot, it is actually slightly easier because, well, if you can hit and destroy and penetrate, you can essentially set off the ammunition, which is actually a pretty good sign. That said, the only 2 places you can penetrate the Super Pershing from the front is the machine gun port and, of course, the side cheeks that are not covered by the extra slab of armor. So that's that. And of course, for every American tank, if you can shoot it from the side, then that is an instant kill, especially at tier 5, so that's that. That said, let's move on to Germany, and for Germany, it's pretty self-evident. For the Tiger 1s, I highly suggest that you shoot them in center mass. Most of your guns, especially the Soviet ones and the Americans one, can penetrate if you're at tier 4 or tier 5. The only issue is that if the hull is angled towards you a little bit, and if the Tiger 1 player is competent, in which most Tiger 1 players in Enlisted are slightly better than the ones in War Thunder. This is to say that if the Tiger 1 player has their tank front on and is facing you directly, then you can instantly shoot the center and the entire tank goes boom. That said, if they're a slightly slanted or slightly angling, then you're pretty much guaranteed not to shoot. Hence, I suggest that you either flank or shoot the tank from the side, which is actually an easier said than done. Moving on to the Tiger P. This is a tank that you can instantly shoot by shooting the turret cheeks. This is actually a very good spot to shoot, and as a matter of fact, for every Tiger 2, which is the Tiger 2P and the Tiger 2H, this is where you will be shooting, because the Tiger 2H and the Tiger 2P, their turrets are insanely hard to kill. As a matter of fact, I will say it's almost impossible. And of course, if you are on side-on, you can instantly destroy it. This is pretty much the same with every single other German tank. For Japan, we have the Chi-Ri. This is a very lackluster tank in terms of armor protection. Everyone can penetrate it, especially from the front. As a matter of fact, most Japanese tanks you can penetrate from the front, and the Chi-Ri is no exception. I would actually suggest that you shoot it center mass, because one shot in center mass can destroy the entire tank. The opposite is said about the Ho-Ri. The Ho-Ri is almost impossible to penetrate from the front, and this is mainly because of the impressive armor layout. You cannot penetrate it from the cheeks because the cheeks of the Ho-Ri are very good. You cannot penetrate it from front on. Of course, there are some caveats that I will talk about right now. For one, you can penetrate it, although you have to be either extremely lucky or extremely close. What I mean by that is that there are two places in which you can penetrate the Ho-Ri. One of them is, of course, the air vents, which you see on top of the tank. If you can penetrate the air vents, which actually requires a lot of angles and essentially, well, skill, then you can pretty much destroy the Ho-Ri in one shot. Another place you can shoot it are these vents on the side, but the only issue is that if you have a gun that is less than 300 millimeters of penetration, you will not get through it, because the rolled homogeneous armor with a 200 millimeters thick is pretty good at stopping that. That said, that is the only way you can penetrate the Ho-Ri, and it's really insanely hard to kill. As a matter of fact, I'll say it's one of the best protected tanks, better than the Yak Tiger, which is a premium, and better than the Tiger 2H, because when the Americans face this, they can't really penetrate it, and the only way you can penetrate it is either through the side, through the back, or through the top, which almost every time you're not gonna do. That said, it is extremely accessible to planes, as you can see through any video of a person using a Ho-Ri. I've died so many times to the plane that I don't even know where to start counting, so that's that. That said, have a great day guys, don't forget to like, subscribe, and join the Discord, and I'll see you in the next one.